Call meeting to order. I pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Weaver,
Yes. Here.
Bruner,
Here.
English,
Here.
Barnum, Helpsley,
Here.
Boyd,
Present.
Janice.
Here. The minutes of the December 11, 2013 regular meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, could I have a motion to accept them?
I'm splitting off.
So moved. Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
December 11, 2013 special meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, could I have a motion to accept them as written?
So moved.
Have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? December 19, 2013 special meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, could I have a motion to accept them?
So moved. Seconded.
All those in favor by the usual sign?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Claims against the county. Are there any questions? If not, could I have a motion for
So moved.
a second?
Second.
All those in favor of the claims of the county by the usual sign?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Passed. County board member claims.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment.
Good morning. Who's on the airport? Jeffrey on the airport board?
Uh-huh. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Who else is on? I got a copy to give to the clerk when I'm finished. I understand the airport has been approved for funds to construct a fuel farm and apron expansion. This is a good thing, but what concerns me is the fact that the approval was based on a false application. You have the applications in your hand. The grant application contained many false statements, those being the reported fuel sales of an average of 5,500 gallons per month. That's completely false based on the fuel sales records reported in the minutes of the airport. They reported they regularly use all Jet A in the existing 1,000 gallon tank. That's also false because the Jet A is being stored in a 10,000 gallon tank. They exaggerated the number of aircraft. The definition of based aircraft, according to the FAA, is operational and airworthy and typically based for the majority of the year at the airport. Our airport reported 35 based aircraft and 8 on a waiting list. There's never been anywhere close to 35 based at the airport, and we submitted a FOIA several months ago for the waiting list, and we're told it did not exist. By continuing with this construction in its current reported state, you are continuing a lie. The people deserve better. If the monies were approved based on a lie, we do not deserve the monies. I'm calling for the Edgar County Board to address and fix this false application for grant money. It's a simple thing, and it's the right thing to do. Submit either a new application or a supplement to the existing application. Explain the original was based on false information and that you wish to correct it prior to starting construction, tell them the former airport manager submitted the false information, which he did, and that he is no longer employed with the county. Come clean, it's the only way. It will be impossible to move forward with false information still out there that can easily be corrected by this board. You should be able to look at the new fuel farm and apron and tell yourself it was well deserved. Without these corrections, it will forever be known as the fuel farm based on lies. Please correct it, it's within your power to do so.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Yeah, just real quick, on your agenda, I noticed item number 9, we're going to authorize Hanson Professional Services for airport projects. I think we put the cart before the horse. If you look at the grant application, there were Hanson engineering drawings already taken care of for that grant. I'm curious when those were authorized and who authorized those. Anybody have any idea? Anybody care to look into it?
Yeah.
Thank you. The other question, last meeting I brought up yet another bank account that we had uncovered, which basically leads to yet another lie for Mr. Wells. I understand you guys are going through an audit. I don't think it's asking too much under the circumstances to have all of those accounts. I believe there's a total of 9 that have been identified. I think they all need to be included in an audit. And at the same time, the question needs to be asked, why were they not included in previous audits? That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Handouts. The board members. And one, of course, to the clerk. Let's start by saying good morning and welcome to the year 2014. If you're like myself, you've reflected on this past year and given serious thought to changes you can make in the upcoming months. I've been reflecting on the Edgar County Airport since this is an area where accountability has been so desperately needed. You already know it's a long story. It's my belief this county's debacle will continue well into 2014, and perhaps even longer with so many investigations underway. At this moment, the ATF, the ISP, the NTSB, the FBI, the FAA, U.S. Inspector General's Office, the Illinois Department of Transportation, Bureau of Aeronautics, and the Illinois State Attorney General's Office all have ongoing investigations and interest into the Edgar County Airport's operations. It is an enormous mess in many ways for us taxpayers, with ramifications that are yet to be felt and understood. I would, however, like to do anything I can that will expedite justice and will bring about lawful operation of both our airport and our county. To this end, I wish to share my opinion as published in the Edgar County Watchdog website. It is rather comprehensive, and copies are provided. If you choose to read, you will learn I filed an OMA complaint. This is in regards to the special meeting called by the Airport Committee, one which was intended to address Mr. Wells' miserable performance. If I'm successful, and if so mandated, then perhaps this committee will have another opportunity to make a correction on that matter, as will the county board. Perhaps you'll get it right this time. Perhaps you'll even rescind your letter of appreciation when all the facts are taken into account. Hopefully, you'll use this second opportunity to distance yourself from the criminal performance of your past manager. But then again, perhaps you will not, and we will continue down the road we are on. Reading my comments, you'll learn about the approval of the airport's fuel farm and apron project, and how the justification is horribly flawed. It is now clear it contains so many lies there can be no reasonable expectation that it will be allowed to continue, or how it could be characterized as anything but an outright fraud perpetuated on our government by a few. I don't believe it will continue. And there remain a number of FOIA concerns, the issues of access to public information, where many of us have been forced to use the FOIA process will continue. By the way, we are encouraged with yesterday's Edgar County Court ruling. Edgar County, Mark Iseth, and Mr. Wells lost their FOIA case. What has become clear to me is that without change, one can expect more FOIA requests and ultimately more civil FOIA civil cases at the county's front door. There are even some new cases in the offing, as evidenced with the included FOIA request of November 23rd to Mr. Wells, and that's included on the back page. So where am I going with this? Well, changes. Changes I'm hoping for and working for in 2014. The biggie is really pretty simple. It begins by telling the truth on everything. The old stuff too. No one really believes Mr. Wells, or the board for that matter, in regard to last November's ban on breastfeeding mothers. Not one. You do yourself more harm than good by your continued denials. If you still can't get your minds around this, take the annoying polygraph test that's been offered and get it right. An apology is certainly in order, and that's just the beginning of the long, long list. Let me continue. No one really believes Jimmy Wells should receive a letter of commendation for his past service, at least not when in review of the facts. Try to remember it's not a popularity contest. Understand this, we're not all going to the same country club, but we do recognize there are a few like-minded individuals in our community that relate really well with Jimmy's standards. Having said that, providing a letter of recommendation to Jimmy Wells for his performance is akin to recognizing the good service of a trusted bank teller after discovering thousands of dollars have been stolen by the same. Once again, this board does itself more harm than needed and debases our community by the continued deference to the facts. Please take a few moments to read what I've provided and to consider the benefits of simply telling the truth and making informed decisions. Decisions based on a higher standard than what has been at play in the past. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I think here's an extra copy. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
My name is Jerry Griffin, and for about 20 years I've had an airplane out at the airport there, and enjoyed flying in and out of there, and we had a lot of crosswind problems before, and I think Mr. Wells was instrumental in putting the north-south runway in, and now the pilots can land in 4 different directions out there now. But I've rented hangars out there in the past, and I looked over some of the hangars, and they're pole barns is what they are. And the base of those pole barns is all rotted out around there. I don't know whether it's from termites or just age or what happened, but if a wind come through there, it could easily blow one of those over, fall over and smash an airplane, which could be problems for everybody too, you know, could be at dollar signs. But as far as the fuel farm out there, I've been there on Sundays before and I'm the only one there. There's no one around. And I've seen twin engine planes come in and say, I'm really low on fuel and I could use 75 gallons of fuel. Well, the fuel system's not set up very well. You have to go inside, turn on the switch to put fuel in your plane. Well, at one time, you know, they just locked everything up, but then he passed to give everybody a key. Well, what kind of security is that where you give everybody a key to stuff? So that's what happened in the last few years that I've been there. But what I'm trying to say is, they told me to go ahead and fill up my plane and just come in and write it down on a clipboard here, and they would bill me later on where you could pay your bill. So they said, we don't accept cash anymore. You got to use a check or a credit card. So I've been paying by check. Just when I get my fuel, I pay by check. But I noticed the clipboard here. I had a big list of people that's come in and signed their name in and airplane number and 31 gallons, 15 gallons, something like that. And then later on, they come out and say they're short on money. You know, all of a sudden, you know, all the fuel's gone and we don't have enough money to replace it. So I can see why, because every airplane has 2 fuel tanks, 1 in each wing. Well, you can shoot 15 gallon in one tank, reset the thing and shoot 15 gallon in the other tank, and go in and write down on your clipboard on honor system 15 gallons. You see what I mean? If they walk out and see the pump, it says 15 gallons. But you actually got 30, you see what I mean? So there's all kind of ways to beat the system. But what I'm trying to say is it's got a problem there. And I don't think you need a big, everybody talked about an $800,000 fuel farm. You don't need that for one plane flying in. Now I just tell them to fly on over to Mattoon and get fuel, if they got enough to get there. But most of the time they say, well, I got about an hour left, I can make it to Mattoon, if they're going west. If they're going south, I send them to Holman or something on a Sunday. Because I do a lot of flying on Sunday, but there's nobody at the airport on Sundays. They close about noon on Saturday, and The airport's just a ghost town on Sundays. But there is people like to fly on Sunday and drop in. But what they really need is a gas pump out there, a credit card gas pump, just like you have here in town. And go with credit cards only. So that you swipe the card, it says authorizing, just like in town. Then when you pump in your 30 gallons of fuel, and the credit card company sends the money direct deposit in your bank account. So when you sell so many gallons, you got the money there to pay for the next load that comes in. I think that would be, but everybody's got a credit card that I know that flies has a credit card, so why not just use a credit card? Then at the end of the month, you get billed for how much fuel you use. And you get rid of this here clipboard. I think that's a poor way of doing business. I mean, it's an honor system, but not everybody's honest. So that's just one problem they got out there. But between the fuel, this way they wouldn't have to spend a bunch of money on a fuel farm. You don't need it. Those tanks will take care of about anybody that comes flying through. You only get one airplane a day comes through there, so they can fill up and go. But I think we need to change the gas pump. Instead of flipping the switch and going out there and filling up, swipe your card and fill up. They have that at a lot of airports, self-service with credit cards. So I think we could do it here at a reasonable, inexpensive price rather than putting in this great big fuel farm. You don't need a fuel farm just to fill up one airplane at a time. So that's one, but on the hangars, now I have noticed that I can go over to a post there and put my foot against it and you can wiggle the post. So that's not good. Whatever's down in the ground is rotted off. So that's just two little items I've got on the airport. Now I knew Jim Wells, and every time I saw him he was smiling. I shook his hand and I thought he was a good guy. And all this stuff here is coming up now is something I didn't know about. And even though I was seeing him once a week or something, I had no idea that, you know, that the airport was in trouble like that. But I think it can be fixed, all the problems. It's not something that can't be fixed, but I don't think we need a big fuel farm. But I think we do need the hangars repaired where they can chisel out around them and pour concrete around them and maybe put some angle iron up there to attach to the post, to anchor the post where, make them a little bit safer from all this. Like the other night we had a 40-mile-an-hour wind went through. I expected to go out there and see a hanger laying flat. They're just sitting there on their imagination. You sneeze and the hanger could fall over. So I didn't know if you guys were aware of that or not. But so that's about all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 8. Oh, excuse me.
I would just like to say that the fuel farm is a good idea. It's one that Rusty addressed quite some time ago and found a system that could have been completely installed for around $20,000. I'd also like to say that I think there's some good, honest people here. I've seen that, and I've worked with some of you. I've also seen a lot of lies and deceit, and I think it's high time that people start telling the truth and that we do things in this county based on the truth and not misrepresentation, like this fuel farm thing. I know a little 2.5-year-old girl wants to go to heaven and bring her daddy home, and a little baby Shane Bogue that's going to be born here into this world, and I'd like to think it's a better place than what it is right now. So it's high time you guys do the right thing. Tired of the lies. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Now we'll go to item 8. Item 1 is the resolution authorizing the county board chairman to award and execute a contract with the parent low bidder for the following: Kansas Township Section 00-08126-00-BR. Aaron, would you?
That's the township bridge program for this fiscal year that we've talked about. It's the bridge in Kansas Township, and it was awarded, or it was opened, I want to say a month ago. And you guys now are going to give the county board chairman the authority to execute the contract and award the contract. It came in under bid, and it was A.J. Walker that got the bid.
Any question?
So moved, Mr. Chairman. I move the resolution.
This will be a roll call.
Zuber,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Helpsley,
Yes.
Boyd.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item number 2 is a resolution authorizing the county clerk to sign and transmit 2 certified copies of BLR 09215, anticipation of township bridge funds, Elbridge Township, section 11-04124-00-BR. Aaron?
You guys have passed a similar resolution for this structure several months ago. The final engineer's estimate came in a little bit higher than what we had thought, what prior administrations had thought. So you are now authorizing the clerk to sign that the county is going to do what it's always done, and that's to front the money and then seek reimbursement later. So we're telling the Department of Transportation that we will pay for the structure and that you will use township bridge funds later to reimburse your account.
Any questions?
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Dale?
Have a roll call.
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Helsley,
Yes.
Boyd.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item number 3, resolution authorizing county board chairman to award and execute a contract with apparent low bidder for the following: Ike, Kansas resurfacing and gutter replacement project, section 12-00108-02-RS. Aaron?
Ben and I had talked much in the last few days, and we canceled the letting that was yesterday, and we canceled the letting that was today. The letting that we canceled yesterday was this one.
Okay.
So we will open bids on January 30th right now. We'll send out addendums, open bids on the 30th, and I hope to have this before you guys next month.
I move to table.
Second.
Roll call on the motion to table.
Zuber,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Helsley,
Yes.
Boyd.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 9,
Mr. Chairman, can I make a comment to Aaron? I drove out on the Cherry Point Bridge last week just to check out the work and compliment, it's really great. I did it illegally, I went around a barricade, but it is really nice.
Birthday present.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan. I'd like to comment back and say that we apologize to the board that the railing is not up. The railing is made, and we're waiting to install it on weather. So I want to apologize. Thank you for the compliment, and I want to return it with an apology that we don't have it open yet. The railing's here, we're just having troubles getting out there to get it installed. Thanks, Dan.
any other comment? Item 9, authorize county board chairman to execute agreement with Hanson Professional Services Incorporated for airport projects.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of comments.
Okay.
We got the contracts yesterday afternoon. We knew we were getting them. They had told us last week. However, there is another contract. It's a 5-year contract coming. It's a general contract or retainer contract with Hanson Engineering. And for that reason, so that we can keep things in order and in line and progressing correctly, I would like to table this particular authorization until the next meeting so that we can review this contract in light of the other contract and go from there.
Question.
Yes.
Had we had a prior 5-year agreement with Hanson?
Yes.
You know? So we've already had their 5.
And it's ellipsed.
So it was done.
I can't tell you the date. Carl called and said that he had talked to Dale, and they had contacted, Dale's been in contact with them several times. And they will comment on other issues, and it just seems like it's appropriate to handle it that way.
I just didn't know if we had them, so we've had them with them before.
Yes, that's correct.
There was a second.
I said.
No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
Before I lose these, Mr. Chairman, and get into trouble with the deputy clerk.
department reports. Don, you want to start them? Number 10. Excuse me, item 10. Authorize expenditures of final phase of Bellwether LLC cost and fee study.
Mr. Chairman, this is what we discussed last meeting. We've had a presentation by them, and we didn't have it appear on the agenda correctly in order to approve it. So at this point in time, we would like to move to go ahead and authorize the final phase of the assessments, fee assessments of the several offices and the particular target fees that were represented at that time.
That's the motion.
Second.
Yeah, that's the motion, yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now, Don, we can let you go.
Okay, you have your reports. I don't really have any notes on it, additional notes that I usually put on. We just got an income tax hit our bank account today, so I was surprised to see that. I didn't think I'd see it till later in the month. That's the only thing we've gotten from the state so far this calendar year. I spoke with our new auditors last Thursday and Friday just to tag bases with them. It is still a green light for the audit to start this coming Monday. I'm not aware, Terry spoke to me on behalf of Augie about maybe trying to schedule a pre-audit meeting. I don't know where that is right now. You got a note there? So you'll take care of that? Okay, so other than that, I just want to make a comment. I'm glad that my one staff member has a very nice husband that brought her into work yesterday late morning so that all you folks could get paid today, or Friday. So I guarantee you if I would have done payroll, you would have gotten either too much or not enough. And so I'd like to thank our extended families for however they help out. Thank you.
Circuit Clerk.
I think I'm fine and dandy, thank you very much.
Hesda. Animal Shelter.
I'm starting a new adoption through the shelter. I've had a lot of help with adoptions through the Humane Society in the past, and I'm going to try to start doing all the adoptions through the shelter. So, big changes. I also want to thank the volunteers as the Humane Society that's helped so much in the past, such as Mel Elston. So, that's about it.
Thank you. Assessments.
Assessments are moving along. We should have our tentative assessments done within the next 2.5 weeks and published in the paper and the notices out. So we're right on schedule from where we were in the past.
Sheriff's Department.
I've got 2 COs that went to Springfield Sunday to start training for the next 5 weeks, which of course puts us down to 2 full-time, which is going to kill the overtime budget and kill them too, because if we're doing 12, since that budget was cut a little bit, it's really not put a strain. And Chief Deputy Guest has resigned formally, gave me the letter the other day, January 24th.
Anything else?
That's it.
Highway Department.
I want to recognize County Board Chairman, the Sheriff, ESDA, 911, and all the folks that pulled together. There were other people, other players, citizens that phoned in to help. There were several rescue missions that went on, probably unbeknownst to a lot of you folks, and even myself. And I thought that all of those organizations were worked very well together in making rescues. I appreciate, Ben, all of your involvement. I've never closed the county highway system before, and I don't think Ben has either, and we worked through that. Just so you know, and of course I wasn't doing any of it, I was just basically watching, and I thought that all of the agencies really did a nice job. And what I went to bed Sunday night thinking was going to be I thought it was a very life-threatening situation. I knew it was a very life-threatening situation. And I'm very, very happy to hear, I haven't heard yet, that we didn't lose anybody in that storm, because there were a lot of very serious situations that occurred during that storm. And I think all of these organizations and entities did a nice job of, we were getting advice to send snowmobiles out, farmers sent tractors out, and there was a lot of effort that went into preventing the loss of life on Sunday night. I think it was that level of a crisis, and I think we all did a very nice job of getting through it. So thank you all, and good job.
Thank you.
That's all.
County Clerk.
The only thing that Augie asked me to pass along is the pre-audit meeting is scheduled for Tuesday morning, the 14th at 9 o'clock out at the Cretton Building.
At what time, 9?
9.
Is that for Terry, is that for all of us, or just,
All
All
department heads.
department heads, yes.
so Tuesday
At 9 o'clock. Joe can't be here on Monday when they open up,
At Cretton.
starting the audit, so he's out of town, so he wanted to do it on Tuesday. And we'll have a meeting out there with everybody involved with the audit.
So I'm assuming somebody else is gonna show up
There's supposed to
Monday.
be 2 show up at your office on Monday morning, but it won't be Joe. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Well, committee reports. Yeah.
You've all been given a copy of the current budget for the current budget year. We've had we've had 16.7% of the year in 2 months pass us by. Our income is sitting at 6.7, which is not unusual for this time of the year since the bulk of our revenue comes later. The expenses, however, are at 11.6 versus 16.7. So everything is in line, and that is, you'll probably wonder how I got those numbers, but I added the last payroll in that will be made this month and other expenses that I know that will incur to extrapolate that particular item. So if you look at that and you have any questions, I'm sure you could check with me or Don, and we'll try to answer your questions as to where we're at on the budget. Also on the agenda at the next meeting, we will be submitting through with the assessment office, or the assessor's office, a fee system for township assessments that we do, including the multi-townships. So we've got a formula that's across the board. It's based on parcels rather than all kinds of different things, and it's based on the law, and the state's attorney has been involved, so we'll do that. Okay, that's all I have at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Mike?
Nothing.
Alan?
Nothing at this time.
Dale? Dan?
We canceled the animal shelter meeting on Monday for obvious reasons. Andrew called and we're working on a new program to start an adoption for the animals and the dogs at the shelter. The reason why is because Mel Elson, I guess, is resigning from the Humane Society. So we'll have more details in February.
Thank you. Any other business come before the meeting? Do we need a closed session?
Yes.
We do? Yes, I guess we do. Have a motion to that effect.
Mr. Zuber? You gonna read it?
Oh, I have to say it myself. I make a motion to go into closed session, discuss appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, and dismissal of specific employees of the public body and pending litigation.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. I'll be no action.
Chief
Be
Deputy
no action
Clerk, would
after.
you like me to shut the camera off?
Yes, please shut that off.
Somebody needs to go get the